Right off the bat, let's throw some love Impact's way. I'm actually quite excited for the new era they're about to undertake. I think Scott D'Amore and Don Callis have very good minds for wrestling. So far, all the announcements have made me go, yeah, I like that. Good idea. However, as we know, Impact or TNA or GFW, whatever they decided to call themselves along the way, have had some serious ups and some serious downs, and you see what I did there. Some of which did tie into what was going on in old WWE land too. You can bet your ass WWE doesn't want you talking about that nonsense. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and this is 10 things WWE wants you to forget about TNA. Number 10, James Storm chose TNA over NXT. When it comes to dudes you instantly associate with TNA, James Storm has got to be right up there, especially as the Cowboy has been a near constant presence since the promotion began. Coming aboard in 2002, he lit up the place as one half of America's Most Wanted and did so again with Bobby Roode when they formed Beer Money. Storm was a tag team sensation. Point that was backed up given he had 14 tag title reigns. Throw in a TNA World Heavyweight run too, and Storm is up there as one of the most dedicated guys they've ever had. When his contract came up in 2015, however, he thought he'd go and see what else he could find. You know what he found? An appearance in NXT that October. It all seemed likely this was his next destination, but to everyone's surprise, he turned WWE down and returned to his Impact home. It's not like this particularly hurt WWE or anything like that, but still, no one likes to be rejected. It's just so much pain. Number 9, the Broken Universe. Now, WWE doesn't want you to forget the Matt Hardy Broken Universe entirely. Of course they don't. That's why we now have Woken Matt Hardy, for goodness sake. We're going for round 2 with all of this. However, I'd still bet they'd rather a lot of people forgot that this did all start in TNA. It wasn't a homegrown creation, because that always seems to be a bugbear for the upper echelon of management in WWE. If they didn't spark the fires, sometimes they won't even get behind an idea at all. This was even worse before the Hardys and TNA came to an agreement, because prior to that, all WWE were able to do was tease this may happen, but they couldn't go any further. If they did, they may have been sued, and that's a whole wormhole nobody wanted to go down. It also meant at one stage, Impact held power over WWE. Believe you me, they would not have enjoyed that. Number 8, Gail Kim. No question, Gail Kim is one of the most talented female performers of her generation. Fact. But when you look at her success in WWE and TNA, that's all a bit strange. In the former, she was nothing more than someone who was just there during her first run. Although she was women's champion, that lasted for a grand total of 28 days. She left in 2004 before returning 4 years later, but again, WWE had no clue how to book her. Instead, she just walked away once more in 2011. In this sense, she's just a blip on the WWE radar, but when you turn your attentions to TNA, she's awesome. The most decorated women's wrestler in their history, her total combined time with the championship was 711 days, and she was inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame in 2016. That is pretty good. This doesn't happen by fluke either, so it's unreal WWE wasn't able to make better use of her talent. If only she was the only one, because, number 7, Christian. Yes, TNA would often take any ex-WWE talent just because of the name power it brought them, and some worked, and some didn't. It's pot luck mostly. When it hit mind, it really hit, and that was definitely the case with Christian. Already very successful in WWE, his place there was a mid-carder and nothing more. He did well, but everyone has ambitions, and clearly Christian believed he could have gone higher, so he left in order to get higher. Betting on himself proved to be the right move too, as Captain Charisma was thrown into the spotlight and quickly became one of the most important main event guys TNA had. 2 world title reigns followed, and you could say this was the promotion's peak. Christian was a huge reason for that, and something WWE wants you to forget. Number 6, they've made some of WWE's top stars. I don't think there's anything wrong with honing your craft elsewhere and then heading to WWE. It just makes sense in my head, but for some reason, it doesn't in theirs. In that case, it definitely shouldn't be talked about. That's why it's hilarious that if we look at Raw and SmackDown today, so many of the major players are talent who made it first in TNA. AJ Styles, of course, was a figurehead there and currently the WWE World Champion, and Samoa Joe is one of the best heels they have, be that Raw or SmackDown. Prove that time and time again. There's more as well, given that Bobby Roode is now cementing his place as the United States Champion. Maybe one day WWE will actually talk about their past as well, which would be nice. But actually, no, they won't, because, they don't want to. But still, the truth is the truth, and the truth is those 3 guys are synonymous with total non-stop action. Number 5, WWE never matched the X Division. For a long time, the X Division was TNA's USP. Showcasing a style that has now almost become commonplace in pro wrestling, it made a splash at a time where you just didn't see this type of grappling, making names of AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels far more recognizable. And it's not like WWE hasn't tried either. Way back when, their light heavyweight division was nothing more than a joke, and today's 205 Live program is more or less the same. You'll know the issues there, but it does stop these ventures from being similar platforms for what TNA once did. I mean, at one point, WWE's big idea was just to change the colour of the ropes. What? I'd rather see AJ do that crazy flip thing when he was suspended in midair. You know the one. It's been all over the internet for years. Number 4, thievery. In many ways, maybe WWE would want you to remember this because it does make them look good. Kinda. But over the years, TNA have straight up stolen ideas from WWE to see if they could make them work as well. From using Eric Young as their Daniel Bryan to calling their fans the TNA Galaxy, that was awful, to Abyss just being Kane, if they ever saw something they enjoyed, they just did it themselves. Which I guess is a good attitude in one way, in another, it's ridiculous. And let's be fair too, WWE has done the same, and I would think that's where everyone involved probably wants to stay quiet. The final deletion soon became that New Day Wyatt thing on Raw, and Laycool did have a very beautiful people vibe to them. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, however, so maybe this was all done just to be nice. Number 3, EC3 could have been a WWE star. Look, sometimes you need to go away to come back better. That's an adage as old as time itself, so yeah, if EC3 had hung around in NXT, maybe he would not be the guy he is today. That would suck. Easily one of the biggest success stories to come out of TNA. He was released in 2013 by WWE before heading over to the competition as Dixie Carter's arrogant nephew, making a serious splash. He got better throughout his time there as well and carried himself like a proper star. That always helps, because people start to think you're a star. With a little more patience, WWE could have sculpted this stone from scratch, which they would have preferred, but let's face it, EC3 may already be back in NXT when you hear these words, so everything worked out just fine. Number 2, they gave women a chance first. WWE's women's revolution is huge these days. To their credit, the company have completely revamped the division over the past few years, and right now the ladies under Vince McMahon's watchful eye have never been treated with more respect. It's about wrestling as opposed to divas, and we will never see a bra and panties match again, thank goodness. We've moved forward as we should have done. Thing is, TNA did it first. Facts are facts, and the fact is, TNA were pushing their knockouts division long before divas were a thing of the past, meaning WWE's switch in focus wasn't innovation, but the company finally catching up with the times. Impact were promoting women as legitimate competitors as far back as 2007. The company's first knockouts champion, Gail Kim, became a Hall of Famer, as we've said, and she was joined by the likes of Awesome, Kong, Tara, Madison Rayne, and later Mickie James. Each was allowed to succeed in their own way, and while the division did occasionally fall off a cliff, such incidents were the exception rather than the rule. And I think that's something that needs to be stated. That's why I stated it. Number 1, Kurt Angle. This is a hard one, but when we weigh everything up, is Kurt Angle a WWE guy? Or is he a TNA guy? When Kurt Angle swept in to save the day as a replacement for Roman Reigns in TLC 2017's main event, WWE decided to market it as the Olympian's first match in 11 years, asking fans to buy into the idea that Kurt hadn't worked a single bout since leaving the company in 2006. That was ridiculous. And WWE will never acknowledge it, but Kurt of course spent 10 years as an active TNA competitor compared to 8 when he was with them first time around. Impact is every bit as important to his legacy, and although he was definitely a bigger global star while working for McMahon, it wouldn't be too nuts to argue that he eventually became more of a TNA guy than a WWE guy. As we've already seen, WWE wants you to forget that. Know of anything else WWE wants you to forget about TNA? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Then make sure you head on over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles, and follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture, and I'll chat to you again soon.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe below, and if you're looking for more content like this, then try a few things that are floating about around my ears. It might be fun. I can't promise it though, but it might be.